Perusahaan batu bara masih menjadi penyumbang terbesar bagi penerimaan royalti dan devisa. Sepanjang tahun 2017 lalu, royalti yang dibayar PT Bumi Resources Tbk lewat dua anak usahanya tercatat lebih dari 4 kali lipat dari royalti yang dibayar Freeport Indonesia.
Kontribusi perusahaan tambang batu bara terhadap perekonomian Indonesia masih sangat signifikan. Selain dari sisi royalti, perusahaan batu bara juga menjadi penghasil devisa terbesar. Indonesia Mining Association kembali memberikan penghargaan kepada dua anak usaha PT Bumi Resources Tbk, yakni PT Kaltim Prima Coal atau KPC dan PT Arutmin. KPC tercatat menjadi perusahaan pembayar royalti terbesar, sedangkan Arutmin berada di posisi kelima. Di tahun 2017 lalu, kedua anak usaha bumi ini telah menyetor royalti ke negara hingga 9 triliun rupiah. Jumlah ini jauh lebih besar dibandingkan royalti yang didapat dari PT Adaro Energi atau Freeport yang masing-masing hanya berkontribusi 4,2 triliun rupiah dan 2 triliun rupiah. Direktur Bumi Resources Dilep Sriwastafa mengatakan Bumi sudah beberapa kali menjadi pembayar royalti terbesar ke pemerintah.
This award for highest royalty is not just in 2017. The Minister of Finance, Indonesia, also gave Bumi the first rank for highest royalty payer in 2016. We were first then also. And between 2010 and 2014, Bumi has also been ranked as the highest royalty payer. So actually it is not new. And the reason for that is that Bumi is the largest coal producer in Indonesia.
Selain memberi kontribusi terbesar bagi penerimaan negara bukan pajak, perusahaan tambang batu bara juga menjadi penghasil devisa terbesar. Akhir bulan lalu, Bank Indonesia juga telah memberi penghargaan kepada PT Kaltim Prima Coal sebagai perusahaan penyumbang devisa ekspor terbaik. Penghargaan ini merupakan kali kedua bagi anak usaha Bumi Resources ini setelah di tahun 2017 lalu meraih penghargaan serupa. Dari Jakarta, Suci Mentari, Andri Panca, TV One mengabarkan.
Dan untuk membahas lebih lanjut seperti apakah kontribusi dari perusahaan tambang ke perekonomian, di studio Viva One siang ini sudah hadir Direktur dan Sekretaris Perusahaan PT Bumi Resources Tbk, Bapak Dilep Sriwastafa. Good afternoon, Mr. Dilep Sriwastafa. Thanks for coming. And then we would like to say congratulate Bumi Resources subsidiary for receiving the award from Bank Indonesia in 2018. So please describe regarding the prestigious award from Bank Indonesia on Best Foreign Exchange Reserve achieved 2018. How did Bumi manage to achieve it?
Well, thank you very much for inviting Bumi here and for this opportunity. Bumi is, as I've said before, the largest coal producer in the country. We export roughly 75% of whatever coal we produce. We supply 25% domestically. So roughly 75% of our entire revenue is in foreign exchange. And since we are the largest producer, we produce in the region of 85 million tons and next year hope to do 90 and maybe cross 100 2 years later. Our foreign exchange that we earn comes directly into Indonesia, and of the dollars that we receive, we also convert 80% of that in Indonesian rupiah. And much of the expenditure that we incur, even though it might be dollar linked, is really settled in Indonesian rupiah. And this is actually a national priority, and we respect that national priority and we follow that.
Okay, please also describe about other prestigious award Bumi received from Indonesia Mining Association (IMA) on best and largest royalty amount company.
As I said, we are the largest coal producer in the country. And by virtue of our being number one, with a sale of last year of 84 million tons, amounting to $4.8 billion of gross revenue, The royalty rate in Indonesia, of course, is about the highest in the world at 13.5%, amounts to $650 million. At an exchange rate of 14,000 rupiah to a dollar, this works out to 9.1 trillion rupiah in 2017, which is what the award is for. So Bumi's royalty payment to the national exchequer of 9.1 trillion rupiah is actually more than double of the second-ranked coal player. And if we add rank number 2, 3, and 4, Bumi's royalty is still larger than combined Adaro, combined Berau, and the third player, Hideko. And if we look at the sixth-ranked player, which is Freeport, the royalty that Bumi pays is 4.5 times more than Freeport. So Bumi is a national asset and a major contributor to the national exchequer. And that is the reason that it has been selected as number 1, not for the first time, but for about 7 years in a row.
Okay. As the largest producer company in Indonesia in mining, how much Bumi Resources has to pay for royalty this year? Is there any increase or decline, and why?
I would say that we were impacted by 5 months of rain, ada hujan sekali, huge amount of rain in the first 5 months of this year. And then we respect government policy and the DMO. We were also impacted from 12th March 2018 to 30th September 2018 on sales that we made to PLN, which were at a controlled price. And if we reckon the impact of that, we would think that it would have made a difference of roughly $190 to $200 million of revenue. But all this we have absorbed as this is part of national priority and in national interest. Leaving that aside, we think in Q4, we will be doing another 21 million tons of output. And if we add that to 63 million tons that we have done up to September, we should end the year pretty much like last year, at a price marginally higher than last year, even though we were impacted by, on revenue, by our supplies to PLN at controlled prices. So I would say that we would be around last year's level and could well be higher than last year's level. We would be somewhere in between.
Okay, Mr. Dilip, other than royalty, what kind of payment Bumi has to pay to government? Do you have total payment for the last 10 years?
That's
10 years.
That's a difficult one. I think we might be approaching GDP numbers. This year, I would estimate, and this is just my personal view, subject of course to correction, if our royalty is $650 million, the corporate tax that KPC and Arutmin pay is 45% on their net income. I would think just these two factors alone would bring us to $1 billion level. And to that, we have to add the other levies and taxes that we pay. So I would say that we would be anywhere between 1 billion to about 1.25 to 1.3 billion as our contribution to the national exchequer this year. If you look at the last 10 years, I would think that our contribution to the national exchequer would be in excess of 100 trillion rupiah.
Okay, besides export sales, is there any contribution from Bumi Resources on local supply, especially for PLN that you said?
We are obligated to supply to PLN, and it is our responsibility as a responsible corporate citizen. We accord the highest priority on coal supplies to PLN. Up to September this year, Bumi has supplied 15 million tons of coal to PLN. In the fourth quarter, I think we should maintain that ratio. Overall, domestically, if we count PLN and non-PLN, we would cross our domestic market obligation of 25% quite easily. And it is our intent to continue supplying and meeting government priorities and commitments and supplies to PLN.
Okay, please you explain, other than the domestic coal supply, what are other domestic contribution Bumi that have done? Some CSR,
well, apart
maybe
from
CSR.
PLN that we supply, we also supply to other sectors in Indonesia, that is our coal. The second is that KPC, which is the world's single largest coal mine that we have, it has a capacity of 60 million tons. It also has captive coal-fired power plants of a capacity of 64 megawatts. And I understand that they are increasing that capacity by another 18 megawatts and have plans and have requested the government for a license for a much larger mega plant. Now, out of the captive coal-fired plant capacity of 64 megawatts that we have, roughly 25% of that is supplied to PLN, for which KPC has invested in the transmission line. So this is by way of an additional activity to support national priorities and PLN. The third is that we have a workforce easily of around 8,000 to 10,000, and we support a local community across our concessions of around 170,000 hectares in South and East Kalimantan, which is roughly around 80,000 people in population. We have very strong CSR programs, we have very strong sustainability programs, we have very strong environmental programs. In fact, you name it and we have it, and we are the mining model actually globally for what we do. So our contribution domestically is of a very high order, and this has been recognized by the Indonesian Mining Association, where we have been ranked number 1 for use of local product.
Okay, what about Bumi performance this year in terms of production and revenue?
Well, if we discount if we take aside the PLN factor, you know, on controlled sales, we think that we will be ending the year at roughly 84 million tons of sale and 86 million tons of output, which is coal mined. The price is marginally higher than last year in spite of the price cap. So we think that our revenue this year would be in the region of $4.9 billion. Hence, it leads me back to your earlier question on royalty. 13.5% royalty on that should be around $650 million, or maybe a little in excess. It depends really on how much we sell in Q4.
Okay, Mr. Dilip, time is over. Thank you very much for this time, and once again we say congratulations for this award. Thank you and good luck for you.
Thank you so much for having us, and we look forward to another opportunity of being able to explain ourselves.
Okay, terima kasih.